Today is very auspicious day, appearance day of Srimati Jahnava Devi, internal potency of Srila Nityananda Prabhu, and Sri Sita Devi, internal potency of Sri Ramchandra Bhagavan. Very auspicious day. Shakti is more powerful and more merciful. Here we sang this song of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhavar Nave Pore Mor Akuloparan. Having fallen into this vast ocean of material existence, how will my bewildered soul find this shore? I have no clue how to reach it. I have no strength of accumulated pious activities. Karma ball. We are now hearing in Gita, Varna, Ashram, Dharma, that. Knowledge, I have no power of knowledge. We will come to that chapter. Sacrifices, yogic practice, austerities, or religiosity. Indeed, I have no resources at all. I am extremely weak and don't know how to swim. Who will rescue me from this calamity? The crocodile of sense enjoyment is a ferocious sight, and the waves of lust are constantly agitating me. I cannot tolerate the raging winds of the consequences of my activities in prior births. This is Praktan Bayur Bek. That force of karma, prarabdha karma from before. You cannot do much about that. That is force, you are forced to go in that and reap the fruits. And this is very difficult to tolerate. I simply weep with an agitated mind, for I see no sailors to rescue me. Like if you are in one river, it is going, and you cannot do much about that. You go with the flow. You are unable. Like that prarabdha karma is pushing us. But no one is to be blamed. We did such activities that this is happening. O Sri Jahnava Devi, by virtue of your own good qualities, I have no resources, nothing. So you show compassion to this servant today and remove my afflictions because of your own good qualities, of your own compassion. There is nothing in me based on which I could claim or say I deserve. No, nothing is there. So out of your own compassion, you rescue me. And it is possible, we heard so many examples now, that even prarabdha karma and desires coming from that, like lust and all these things, if one takes shelter of bona fide guru, that can change also. In your horoscope, that can change. That fixed karma can change. So you show compassion to this servant today and remove my afflictions. I have determined that I will cross over this vast ocean of material existence by taking shelter of the boat of your lotus feet. This is we have to do. We have to take shelter. Then we can be rescued. That is our part. You are the potency of Nityananda Prabhu and the authority on Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti Guru. Kindly bestow your lotus feet, which are like a desire tree, upon this servant. You have delivered many sinful persons. Today, this wretched beggar falls at your lotus feet. Gurudev said, because I see you rescued so many fallen souls, sinful persons, so I have no hesitation, I have no fear. I'm also coming. You please rescue me. So compassionate. Then Gurudev wrote in the book, the biography of Sri Jahnava Devi, Shri Baruni Revata Bangsha Sambhave Tasya Priya Dve Boshuda Cha Jannavi Shri Surja Dasasya Mahatmana Sute Kakudmi Rupasya Cha Surja Teja Saha Kechit Shri Boshuda Devim Kalau Api Vivrinvate Ananga Manjarim Kechit Jannavim Cha Prachakshate Ubhayam Tu Samichinam Purva Nyayat Satam Matam. Lord Balarama's wives Varuni and Revati became Boshuda and Jahnavi, the two wives of Nityananda Prabhu in Chaitanya Lila. Both of them were the daughters of Surja Das, who was as effulgent as the sun. He was Kakudmi, the father of Revati in Krishna Lila. According to another opinion, Jahnava was the avatar of Ananga Manjari. Both these opinions are possible, as we have shown that more than one identity can be joined in associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gaurganodesh Dipika. Nityananda Prabhu's Shakti, Srimati Jahnava Devi, appeared on the Shukla Navami Tithi of Vaishak today. Her father was Surja Das Sarkhel. According to the Gauriya Vaishnava Abhidhan, her mother's name was Bhadravati. Surja Das's Shripat is in the village of Shaligram, which is not far from Navadip, close to the Murgacha station on the Eastern Railway. Surja Das was the third son of Kanksari Mishra. His older brothers were Damodar and Jagannath. His younger brothers, Gauri Das, Krishna Das Sarkel, and Rishinga Chaitanya. Surja Das Pandit made his home in Shaligram, not far from Navadip. He held an important post in the service of the king of Gaura, as a result of which he was given the title Sarkel, which means commander, and earned a large amount of money. Surja Das and his brothers were all very pure in their character, and they had a spotless reputation. His virtues are innumerable. His daughters were Boshuda and Jahnava. Bhakti Ratnakar. Surja Das Sarkel and Krishna Das were brothers who both had great faith in Nityananda Prabhu and were filled with love for Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita. Surja Das Sarkel was a magnanimous devotee whose brother was Gauri Das Pandit. Gauri Das took his permission to come and live in Ambika on the banks of the Ganges. Bhakti Ratnakar. Narahari Chakravarti Thakur has written about Jahnava Devi's holy life at length in his Bhakti Ratnakara. Every manifestation of Vishnu Tattva has three energies which are known as Shri, Bhu, and Nila or Lila. Nityananda Prabhu, the Vishnu Tattva, possesses these three energies. In the 12th Taranga of the Bhakti Ratnakar, Lord Nityananda Prabhu's wedding is described as taking place according to human custom. The essence of that description is as follows. A certain Kayasta named Krishna Das, the son of Harihar of Borogachi, a village near Shaligram, made arrangements for the wedding of Nityananda Prabhu. A certain elderly Brahmana from Shaligram saw that Surja Das was worried about finding a suitable husband for his two daughters and made the following suggestion. In the village of Ekachakra in Raradesh are a Brahmana couple named Harai Pandit and Padmavati Devi. They were Vasudev and Rohini in their previous roles in Krishna Lila. Lord Balaram has appeared as their son, Nityananda Prabhu. He traveled to all the places of pilgrimage and performed many austerities. He is a great scholar and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dearest associate. He is the eternal husband of your 2 daughters. In a dream, Surya Das also had a vision of Nityananda Prabhu as Balaram, with Vasudha and Jahnava standing to his left and right in their forms as Revati and Baruni. When Surya Das took the Brahmana's advice seriously and offered the 2 girls to Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet, Nityananda Prabhu mercifully gave him the same vision directly. Surya Das forgot himself in ecstasy. He saw Vasudha and Jahnava as Varuni and Revati, whose forms were more effulgent than mountains of gold and kumkum. Standing to the left and right of Balaram, they were decorated in magnificent jewelry and bedecked in fine, colorful clothes. Nityananda Prabhu revealed this magnificence to his devotee in order to give him joy, and Surya Das completely forgot himself in his ecstasy. Bhakti-Ratnakara. The Adivas, preliminary function rituals on the eve of the wedding and the wedding itself, were conducted in the house of Krishnadas Sarkel in Shaligram. All the Brahmanas of Borogachi and Shaligram were present there. The fortunate Surya Das Sarkel gave his 2 daughters away to Nityananda Prabhu according to the religious rites and popular custom. Bhakti-Ratnakara. At Sachi Mata's request, Nityananda Prabhu stayed for some time in Navadip after his wedding in Shantipur. He then moved to Saptagram, where he stayed with Udarandatta Thakur, and then established a residence on the banks of the Ganges in Karda. Jahnava Devi herself had no sons, but Nityananda Prabhu's other potency, Vasudha Devi, gave birth to Virbhadra or Vir Chandra Goswami, the manifestation of Kirodakashayi Vishnu, Gaur Ganodesh Deepika, and Ganga Devi, the manifestation of river Ganges. According to the Gaur Ganodesh Deepika, Ganga Devi's husband, Madhava Acharya, is an avatar of King Shantanu. About Shantanu, you can read in Gurudev's Puranic Charitavali. Not ordinary king, Shantanu. So Vasudha had 2 children, 1 son, 1 daughter, Virchandra and Ganga. Birabhadra Goswami was inundated with Jahnava Mata's mercy, becoming her direct initiated disciple. Nityananda Das writes in his Prema Vilas that when Virabhadra saw Jahnava Mata in a 4-armed form, his mind was changed and he took Diksha from her. During that festival, when Jahnava Devi was cooking, so she was cooking, then suddenly Virachandra came inside and she had to cover herself with her sari. So 2 hands were already engaged in cooking. So at that time she manifested 2 more hands, and with those 2 hands she put this. So then Virabhadra understood she's not ordinary woman. Then he surrendered and took Diksha from her. Without the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu's potency, Jahnava Devi, no one is able to cross over the ocean of material life. Nor can one obtain the service of Nityananda Prabhu and enter into the loving service of his worshipable Gaurahari and Radha Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written in his Kalyan Kalpataru, this song which we were singing, O Jahnava Devi, be merciful today to your servant and deliver me from my pain. Give me a place in the boat of your lotus feet so that I can be sure to cross over the ocean of birth and death. You are Nityananda Prabhu's energy. You are devotion to Krishna and my Guru. Please give this servant the desired tree of your lotus feet. How numerous are the fallen souls that you have saved. So this fallen beggar seeks a place at your feet. The great devotee Krishna Das, in his song, which begins Jai Radhe Jai Krishna Jai Vrindavan, has prayed to Jahnava Devi's mercy after glorifying Krishna's name about and associates. Remembering Jahnava Devi's lotus feet, this lowly Das, Krishna Das, sings the names of the Lord. We are singing in the morning during Parikrama. Shri Jahnava Pada Padma Kariya Smarana Dino Krishna Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtana. That song. Jai Radha Jai Krishna. Jahnava Devi was present when Narottam Das Thakur put on a great deity installation festival at Keturi village on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day, when he installed 6 sets of deities. Indeed, the installation of the deities took place under her direction. She personally prepared the first offering to the deities and offered it to them. She then served the prasad to the assembled devotees. Early that morning, Jahnava Ishwari rose in great delight, took her bath and did her mantra meditation. She then began to cook innumerable vegetable preparations with great enthusiasm. She does not need to do mantra meditation, but she is doing this to be example for us sadhakas. She is personal associate of Krishna and Nityananda Prabhu. Already perfected, so no need of any sadhana for her. But she's doing to give example to us. That Sandhya one should do in the morning. Taking bath and then do Sandhya. All of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal associates from Bengal were very happy to see Narottam Das. Jahnava Devi, the daughter of Surya Das Pandit and wife of Nityananda Prabhu, worshipped by the entire universe, expert in the distribution of the pearl of Prema, was delighted to hear his name. Her joy increased when she observed his renunciation and uncommon love for Krishna. Jahnava Devi mercifully came to Keturi, making everyone happy by being there and giving her darshan to all. How can a person as fallen as I describe the compassionate nature of Srimati Jahnava Devi? Shri Bhakti Ratnakar. Jahnava Devi's travels are described in the 11th Taranga of Bhakti Ratnakara. While traveling from Keturi to Vrindavan, she stopped in a prosperous village where she delivered some atheistic unbelievers and criminals and bestowed Krishna Prema upon them. When she arrived in Vrindavan, she saw the Samadhi of Gauridas Pandit, which moved her to tears, because he is her uncle, father's brother. And in Krishna Lila, he is Subal Saka. When she was in Vrindavan, the leaders of the Vaishnava community, such as Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Lokanath Goswami, Bhugarbha Goswami, Madhu Pandit, all came to offer her their respectful greetings. She took these Vaishnavas and visited the principal temples of Vrindavan, Madan Mohan, Govinda and Gopinath, before going to Radha Kund. There she met Raghunath Das Goswami, who was engaged in the constant chanting of the holy names and whose body was emaciated by his austerities. Theme: Jahnava Devi, because he was taking only one pot of whey, that buttermilk. Jahnava Devi, but he was not unhappy. He was in full bliss all the time. Jahnava Devi remained in Radhakunda for 3 days, engaged in bhajan. She heard the sound of Krishna's flute while sitting on the banks of the Kunda and had a vision of Sri Krishna that overwhelmed her with waves of divine love. The ghat where Jahnava Devi bathed and had this vision is today known as Sri Jahnava Ghat. She then took the company of Vaishnavas on a parikrama of Brajamandal. During this parikrama, she heard Jiva Goswami speak on Brihat Bhagavatamrita. That is book written by Sanatana Goswami. A very good book, showing all different stages of consciousness and places. On the return journey to Gaura Desh, Jahnava Devi visited numerous places. She spent 3 or 4 days in Keturi, sometime in Buduri, the place of Nityananda Prabhu's birth in Ekachakra, Katwa, where Mahaprabhu took sannyas, Jajigram, Sri Kanda, Navadip, Sri Dham Mayapur, Ambika, and Saptagram, where she visited Udaran Datta's house. During her travels, she met Sri Yadunandan Acharya, is a Diksha Guru of Raghunath Das Goswami, disciple of Advaita Acharya, and Srinivasa Acharya in Katwa, Srila Narottam Thakur and Sri Ramachandra Kaviraj in Jajigram, and Sri Raghunandan Thakur in Srikanda. Finally, she returned to Karda, where she recounted the story of her entire voyage to Boshuda and Birabhadra Prabhu. By Jahnava Devi's mercy, Nityananda Prabhu's dear associate, Parameshwari Das Thakur, was fortunate enough to see Sri Gopinath united with Sri Radharani in Vrindavan. When he returned to Karda and told Jahnava Devi and Boshuda what he had seen, Jahnava was overwhelmed with feelings of prema. She instructed Parameshwari Thakur to go immediately to the village of Antpur and install deities of Sri Radha Gopinath there. Jahnava Devi, because what pure devotee sees in his heart or directly, the transcendental form, that he installs as deity. He takes it out in the form of deity. So because he got this vision, then she instructed him, you will have to manifest. Jahnava Devi arranged for Virabhadra Prabhu's marriage to Yadunandan Acharya's 2 daughters, Srimati and Narayani, both of whom became disciples of Jahnava Devi. We see in Gaur Lila some have more than one wife also, like Virabhadra and Srinivasa Acharya also had 2 wives. So marriage with devotee for the sake of serving Krishna is far better. It is perfect. It is far better than any kind of impersonal school sannyas. Outwardly they may seem like much renounced, but the devotional marriage is far superior than that, because everything is engaged in the service of Krishna. That is pure devotion. So on today's day, Sri Jahnava Devi appeared. There is her deity there in Ekachakra together with Boshuda and Jahnava. So I am bowing down to Jahnava and praying for her causeless mercy. And today also is the appearance day of Sita Devi, internal potency of Ramchandra Bhagavan. In this book, Puranic Charitavali, Gurudev wrote there are two famous kings called Janaka, and this one, here it is written, the second Janaka is the father of Sita, the wife of Lord Ram. The meaning of the name Sita is the furrow made by a plow. When you plow the land, then that, like a row, little like a hole, that row which you make, where you will then plant things, that is furrow. So she appeared from that furrow, and that is why her name became Sita. When King Janaka was plowing a field, from the front of his plow, Shira, appeared a daughter who was thus named Sita Devi. Janaka was also known as Shira Dvaja. Here in Bhagavatam, Tata Shira Dvajo Jagye Jagyartam Karshato Mahim Sita Shira Grato Jata Tasmat Shira Dvaja Smrita. From Bhagavatam. From Hraswa Roma came a son named Shiradvaja, also called Janaka. When Shiradvaja was plowing a field, from the front of his plow appeared a baby girl named Sita Devi, who later became the wife of Lord Ramachandra. Thus he was known as Shiradvaja. And in Ramayana, it is mentioned, Atha me Krishata Kshetram Langalat Utita Mama Kshetram Shodayata Labdva Namna Siteti Vishruta Bhutalat Utita Satu Vyavardata Mamatmaja Virya Shulketi Mekonya Stapiteyam Ayo Nija. From Valmiki Ramayana. One day, as King Janaka was plowing the ritual field, a baby girl appeared in front of his plow. As she had emerged from the Shira, or furrow, that line, people called her Sita. She was raised as the daughter of King Janaka, and he vowed to give her in marriage to a bridegroom of proven prowess. You know that Janaka, so Janaka was childless at first. So for that reason, he wanted to do yagya. So while preparing for that yagya, that field he was plowing, at that time already he got the fruit. She came out. Generally, when you do yagya, you have preparations and then yaga and everything, and ultimately there will be fruit. But he got the fruit already while preparing. Jiva Goswami, he wrote in Sandarbhas in relation to sadhana bhakti, that sadhana bhakti is also called as bhakti. Although it is not purely on transcendental platform, but still it is called bhakti. It is nothing else. It is not jnana, karma, or it is bhakti. And he said, like when you are preparing for a sacrifice, when you are collecting articles, when you are making that yagya mandala, and when you are like here plowing land or bringing ghee and bringing priests, all these are preparations for yagya. Still, they're counted as a part of yagya. They're also auspicious, they're transcendental. So like that, sadhana bhakti is also counted as bhakti, as that preparation for yagya is also part of yagya. This explanation he gave, such comparison. So here we see that while preparing for a yagya, because he was childless, he already got the fruit. Because that preparation is already yagya. Jai Sri Sita Devi ki Jai. Then after that yagya, he had with his wife also another daughter called Urmila. So they were then sisters, Sita and Urmila. So this is how she appeared. And then you know that he vowed he will marry her to someone who will prove his prowess. So what was that? He got that bow of Shiva, very heavy. And he said, whoever king, which king will be able to string that bow, he must have such strength. Then he can marry Sita. So no one could do it. Many came, but no one could do it. But when Ramchandra came, he not only string it, he broke it in 2 pieces. Then it was proved that yes, he has power. So she was married to Ramchandra, his internal potency. And then you know, as ideal wife and husband, they were first living for 12 years in Ayodhya. Then that thing happened that they are to go to forest. So as ideal wife, she also said, I will go with you for your service with husband. Accepting difficulties for the sake of her dharma of serving husband, although there was no curse on her or no obligation, but still she was following her dharma. All this Ram Lila is meant to show this, how to perfectly follow Varna Ashram Dharma, these moral rules of Vedic. So then in forest she was serving, and then she was kidnapped, but that was illusory Sita, we know from Chaitanya Charitamrita, from that Kurma Purana, because Ravan is a demon, so no one can have contact with internal potency of Supreme Lord who is transcendental. We hear Atashi Krishna Namadina Bhavad Grajyam Indriya. Krishna's name, form, attributes, associates, everything about him is transcendental, cannot be grasped by material senses. One who has lust cannot have touch, cannot have contact, actual contact, because Krishna will descend to service-inclined senses. Ravan was not like that, so that was shown outwardly as a lila, and also explained by Mahaprabhu to that Ram Das Bipra, who was sad how Ravan took Sita. Then Mahaprabhu explained, no, that was Maya Sita. Then when Ramchandra rescued her, killed Ravan and everything in there, so first he made that pariksha, examination. Not that he has any doubt of Sita, but others may have, and he's a king, so he has to make such arrangement that no one should have doubt. So she entered into that fire and again came out. That time Agni Dev gave the real Sita and took that Sita. And then again she was, later on she was again tested and also Ramachandra, when he was to do, he had to banish her in order to remove any kind of doubt. He had to banish, so at that time she came to Valmiki Muni's ashram. At that time she was pregnant with Lava and Kush, sons of Ramachandra. She gave birth there. And later when Ramachandra heard Ramayana from Lava and Kush, his sons, then at that time when hearing Ramayana from them, he understood that they are his sons. Such lila was made. And then third time, again someone was speaking something, some citizen. Then again, yes, and for that yagya, I don't know if that was at that time or later on, when Ramachandra had to do some yagya, then they told him that you have to do it with wife, this yagya. So your wife is banished or already disappeared at that time, I don't know. But the point was that he said, they told him you will have to marry again. He said, no, I will make one golden deity of Sita and she will be there with me during yagya. Certain yagyas, both husband and wife, they have to be there. So he also showed, and in Gaur Lila, Sita became Vishnupriya, and she, in order to remove that, means to pay off that debt to Ramchandra, she was also worshipping golden Mahaprabhu deity. Ramchandra Mahaprabhu is same, Krishna. So she was also serving in separation grief. Like Ramachandra was in separation grief, he was worshipping that Sita deity. And ultimately also her disappearance, someone was speaking something. Then she said, again, I am tested. Okay, then she said, if I'm not thinking of anyone other than Ram, and if I'm not engaging in all my senses only in the service of Ram, then you earth, you please give me your shelter. It was proved that Sita Devi is thinking only of Ram and engaging all her senses exclusively for the service of Ram. It was proved that when earth gave her shelter, she came out with that throne and took her in. That was her glorious disappearance, proving her chastity, full chastity, and that exclusive one-pointed devotion. Jai Sri Sita Devi ki Jai. Gurudev said, by the grace of Sita Devi and Ramachandra, we can be rescued from all ulterior desires and we can get pure devotion to them. And in the form of Radha Krishna. So there are many leelas in Ramayana with her ideal. Even some things she showed, but that was meant to give us teaching about desiring that golden deer and speaking to Lakshman some inappropriate words just to show. Because earth is one of the witnesses. We heard in Jayadev Goswami's biography when those robbers first they injured Jayadev Goswami and robbed him and threw him down to die. But by the grace of Supreme Lord, Jayadev was rescued and also treated. Then these same robbers came in the form of Vaishnavas. they were cheating as if they are Vaishnavas. The demons, they're doing these things all the time. They're coming in the garb of a well-wisher, but their motive is something else, like Putana and this. Nowadays also in the demons, in the form of like well-wishing, like for health, for all this, but they're having certain other targets there, but appearing like a well-wisher. So, but Jayadev Goswami could recognize, but still outwardly he would give due respect, but they understood that he recognized, so they quickly fled. And then again they lied to those soldiers that he is actually some person and some bad person, so our king told us to kill him. That is why we wanted, because he did something wrong. So again they were lying. So at that time earth could not tolerate anymore, and she swallowed them inside, because she cannot tolerate someone speaking lies like this. Lie is a sinful thing. Cheating is also a sinful thing. You are showing something, but you have some other target behind. That is sinful activity. That is demoniac. Demons, they are doing this intentionally, knowingly. And cheating people. So in Ajamil's history, there are mentions who are 13 witnesses. 12 or 13, I forgot that time I read. So air and fire and earth is one of the witnesses who sees all our activities, what we are doing. We cannot cheat. Of course, ultimately Krishna is seeing everything, Paramatma, but there are other witnesses also. So here earth bore witness that Sita Devi is actually really thinking only of Ram, no one else. Ravan tried to abduct her, but was unsuccessful. Even Hanuman was able to take her on her back, but she said, no, I will not touch anyone. I will not go. Ramchandra has to come and rescue me. So it was testified, proven by earth, that Sita is only thinking of Ram and engaging all her senses only in the service of Ram. That is, everyone will believe, because earth is witness to all our activities. So if earth proves, it is fact. So this lila was made like that to prove the character of Sita Devi. So I am remembering her deity forum. I saw in some temples in India, and also in Murari Gupta's house in Mayapur, there Sita Devi is there. So I am remembering her divine forum, bowing down to her and praying her causeless mercy. Also today is one special day for us here, because on this day we established GOKUL Slovenia, this institution made by Gurudev, because when Gurudev gave us in 2001 or so, or no, two, that biography of Parangurudev, to translate it into Slovenian language for centennial function of our Parangurudev. Then when we almost finished that, then my mother asked Gurudev that we will print this book, but under what name should we print? And also this will be meant like only for devotees. Then we can just print it normally and distribute it, or it is meant like for general public, for all. Then and in if in this case, then under what name? Under Chaitanya Gauriya Mat or what? How? Then Gurudev gave a reply in email. I still have it. It is also there in Affectionately Yours, that you can register GOKUL in Slovenia and print in that name, under that name. So we made that with devotees here, Gurudev's disciples, and we printed that book in the name of GOKUL. And also Gurudev gave us instructions that we should worship Krishna by Shravan Kirtan and all this as per prescription of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then some people will also become interested. They will ask what you are doing. Then you can explain, and in this way you can increase the servitors of Krishna. And I asked Gurudev also for public programs. He said, yes, you can also make. And many preachers came here, other sannyasis like this, so they came. And in that name we were having programs. So Gurudev said, but no need to, I still remember in Delhi, he told me, no need to no need to rent a hall with, he said, like maximum 100 for 100 people, not more than that. Because Gurudev knows that not all are, especially in Western countries, they are not eager to devote themselves to Krishna. Slowly, slowly, those who have Sukriti, they will. So Gurudev told me, no need for public program, no need more than 100. And it never happened like 100. Never. So it is according to one's Sukriti. They will come. So on this today's day, because it is very auspicious, very merciful day, Jahnava Devi is great preacher. Very powerful, very merciful, and Sita Devi also, she can rescue anyone. She is famous everywhere. So on this day we established that GOKUL. By the grace of Gurudev, he said, it is this Parangurudev's biography, it is for all. It is not only for devotees, it is for all. But if someone will refuse to go through such book, then that is another thing, because everyone has free will, and also according to past Sukriti, he will be inclined or he will not be inclined. So that has to be considered. But from our side, we are offering, distributing to all. Then some will accept, some will not. So in this way, Gurudev wrote to us and gave blessing. He said, I'm praying to all merciful Guru Gauranga, Radha Krishna, to bless you with their service and give you the strength to do so, that you can do that service. In some special way, Gurudev wrote their blessing for that strength. So, global organization of Krishna Chaitanya's universal love. Now there are many global ideas, agendas, and so many things, but they are meant for some evil end. So that can be countered by such global organization established, founded by Gurudev, where universal love is practiced and preached. That is for universal good, by motivating people to engage themselves in the service of Krishna, by which they will do ultimate good and universal good for themselves and also for all others. So there is no other way, like Gurudev said for Chaitanya Gaura is preaching to stop this trend, to counter the trend of violence in the world. Chaitanya Gaura is preaching this divine universal love of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So to counter that trend of violence and cheating and all these things, so we have to practice this and preach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message of divine love that is universal love, means love for Krishna and love for all in relation to Krishna. There is no differentiation because all belong to Krishna. It is not like for my country and other countries enemy, and for elite persons they will be benefited but people will suffer and like this. No, that is wrong, that is violence. But universal good or universal love means you are seeing all as your relatives, as interrelated. We are all interrelated in relation to Krishna, but we are not having such vision. We are having material vision, and we are doing this division and having enmity and exploitation and all this. But like Prahlad, when we will come to that stage of pure devotion, then we can see above this enemy and friend, like all as related to Krishna, and having real love for all living entities. Really you want to do good to them, not for any other purpose or any violence and like this. So Gurudev has that universal love, so he founded this institution to give scope to us fallen souls to practice and to develop that, and also then to preach. But first we have to develop. But we can assist preachers to speak and to show by their example and to bless like this. So Gokul Ki Jai. Tomorrow we'll hear about further on Gita.